Okay, so I would draw my line like that, and then I'd say, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. That was the shift. On this one, what do? I grab my thing. I say, okay, is this the high? 1, 2. Yeah, this is the high. So 1, 2, 3, doji to it, right? Really, anything above the high is like headshot, right? So there's that, and then 4. So this is an M4 pattern in this folder, right? This is a bit shit. Look how extreme this is. Like I said, there's probably some shit flashcards in there just because they're old. So I'll skip that one. But it's like the thing is, it was 1, 2. Okay, this is the high. Got broken. Wait. 4. All right. M4 patterns. Also, I saw how many were in each one. Right. It was like, okay, there's a bunch of them. There's a few of them. There's a few of them. So M5s, there was a lot of. So high, 1, 2. Yeah, this is my high. And they work it, make a pin. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess you could call this one a 4. But then they came all the way back up. Maybe that's why I called it a 5.
So when you say work the high, do you mean they could either close above it, or do you mean just crush it with a pin?
This is what I'm saying. For me, this is what I find helpful to do on like a live chart is I'll just draw that zone and watch that get worked. Mm-hmm. But that's only because I've seen it the way I've seen it. So I'm not going to say it's not applicable, but just look how deep I went on the heads, right? Like I literally picked them all apart and I tried to match them to their exact bar for bar to see which ones were the best, basically, or what there was most of. So this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, shifted on the 5th candle, right? This one, you could say this is more of a railroad track. 1, 2, 3, 4. I said it shifted on the 5th candle.
What was that? Oh, G Swiss.
So here's where it gets a bit interesting, right? Because it broke the high. So when I'm watching something like this, and I've got my line like this, and I say 1, 2, okay, this is my high. Let's see how they work it. They come back over and close above it. I'm saying, okay, cool. Now I just need to wait and watch. If they make another huge candle like this, yeah, 9 times out of 10, I'm wrong about whatever the fuck I'm watching. This is just trash. So they're either going to do a railroad or they're going to do what I call a star pattern, which is like a railroad with a pin in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
is it called an evening star or a morning star?
Yeah,
or something?
One of them. I just call it a star, right? So they got up, they closed above it, they made this pin, and then they closed back below it. So for me, that's like the shift. So in this, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. 5th was the shift.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like another pattern variation.
So would you have got in after the shift and maybe waited for a retracement? Because otherwise, maybe you would have been stopped out.
What I'm saying?
Yeah. Would you have entered right at the top?
Yeah. Or I would have entered here or in this candle.
Okay.
Like I'm trying to get in at the highs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And after they did come back, but I'd like to have been in by then.
Mm-hmm.
This one, these are all M5s, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5th candle shifted again.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my high. Look how they just pinned past it, doji. But you're seeing like the themes here, right? This is GBP pairs as well, remember. I don't know what pairs you're studying right now. Is it just ZARs?
Mainly ZARs, but one thing I've noticed on all these setups, if you look at the first leg of the band,
yeah,
CDO, it's first leg out, second leg in.
Yeah.
On a lot of these.
Yeah. But I mean, ZARs, a lot of the time, ZARs don't even hang around long. Like they'll
No,
just
no.
make like a V and
Yeah.
they've gone. So that's enough. Like this, why you just need to go deep on the like this sort of shit and just really pick them all apart and say, okay, because you can't really. If you draw this on Czar, you'll see sometimes they're just like, what the hell? They're just gone. They're just gone. I couldn't even draw my line. But
Yeah,
for GBPs, this is what I've been doing.
I think you're more likely to get like an M or a W on normals anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, they're definitely more likely to work an area for a bit longer. Let me just see what these flashcards are saying. That's it. Okay, they're not bad. But this, I called it, these are M6s, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 candle it shifted. This one you could argue is a railroad track one as well. So here, okay, here's a good thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's say you were drawing it from here. Wait, I don't know if that. Fuck it, let's just pretend it did. Really, I like to see 8 candles. 8 is nice. Like I draw my line to like 8. I don't want to see it go any further than 8, is what I'm saying. So this is all gap time, right? I expect GBPs to just do this sort of shit at this time. So I like to trade GBPs this side of this box a lot of the time, or like here. But let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And you thought this was going to shift. So you entered. The one, that's way too early, right? And then they make a green doji. Like that's some scary shit. That is some scary shit. The real one was here, right? So
yeah,
1.
Way too early.
This is broken, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I would just have my line there. They didn't go all the way back up to it, but fuck, man.
And you'd like to be within that candle?
Or... Also, look at the TDI back here. Shit. But here, you're actually out, right? And then here, it's kind of passing over the market baseline, but that's on the shift.
Here, where would you have liked to have been in? Would you have liked to have been in like on the way down on that big candle?
Like I'd like to be in anywhere here. If I can grab it up here, that would be lovely. But realistically, anywhere here. Another thing I'm doing as well is like, if you just go like that, wait. Like retail are seeing this as a break and retest. Like they love doing this sort of shit and just drawing support and resistance lines.
Do you know what? You learning some retail stuff's actually really helped you in this, I think.
Yeah, I think it has. I do think it has, because I know how I used to mark up charts.
Like I haven't I understand how like retail traders trade, but those little things like break and retest, that's so clever.
Yeah,
because that's exactly what they would do.
Because you just 100%. Do the exact opposite, right? And when it's super obvious and they make a huge volatile move, I'm watching it and I'm like, so many idiots are buying this right now. Like so many idiots are buying this right now. Like I want to sell it here. Because this is where idiots are buying it. Like it's just the mindset's flipped and it is helpful.
I like that. That for me has changed my viewing of it too now. Like the whole break and retesting is really fucking good.
This again is a bit early, but remember this is the time. Do you remember this setup, Martin? This was GJ painted exactly the same as well.
Yeah, I remember. Let's took it. I remember.
So where's the thing, right? It's not here. It's not here. 1, 2. Here's my high. So I'm looking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're gone. But that's how long it takes, right? Normally 5 to 6.
So, so you do actually take trades within gap time as well?
I'll take. It depends on the setup, right? Because this is not the same. Where the hell was that? Like this. Look at everything about this, right? This is not the same as, where was that other one, by the way? Is that here? Like, look at the TDI here.
Yeah, for me, when why I like gap time trades, it's because something worked on this case G-spot, and it's now not easy, but you understand that
there's just more to it. There's more to it, right? There's more layers.
And also when you look on 22 December last year, you will see also hodl up on GU, which Lash took, and also they worked G-spot during gap time, and during stop hunt they go, and it was GU. So
nice.
That's the thing. It's like, this is one of them, when I say, it's a little bit early for them.
Yeah, but it's
one of those lessons where it's like, it varies for different situations, right? Not every single lesson is like.
Yeah, I was thinking why they move during gap time, but they work G-spot, so it makes sense that they go.
Yeah, I mean, maybe, you know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't mean you have to go crazy risk. If this scared me being this early, but I liked everything else about it, then I just wouldn't have gone big on it, you know?
This is my thinking. I would have thought that they would have come off the 50 and then used the stop hunt time to create a second leg, maybe.
Yeah, but the thing is, I'm not shooting it here. I'm definitely not shooting it here. This is too early for this pair for me. But here, when the stop hunt time starts, and I've seen all of this, and the TDI looks like this, and blood is in, they've just manipulated the G spot like that.
Because it doesn't necessarily have to be a stop hunt time. It's more of just like a volatility time.
Let's see this mine.
Sorry. It was.
What I'm saying about that, though? Like they could either. Oh, sorry. Carry on.
Not what I mean.
He's just looking for a flashcard. Yeah, Will, you were saying?
Yeah, so they could either use that stop hunt time as a stop hunt, or they could move the price with volatility in that time.
Yeah, but that's correct. But sometimes there is situations where they'll make like a stop hunt like this, like a fake stop hunt during the gap time, and then they'll come back like here at this time. So
that's what I was thinking. Yeah,
but that's where you just have to know what setup you're trading, one, and just know all of these things. Know that all these things are in alignment, right?
And there's also chopstick divergence on this as well.
Chopstick divergence. Yeah. What the hell is that?
when it does this, like chopsticks, do you know what I mean? So price is going up, but on the TDR it's going down. So the head is actually lower on the TDR than it is.
You mean here, like this?
Yeah, so there's a line going up there, but on the TDR it's going down.
Yeah. So this is going up.
Yeah.
And this is going down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is it chopstick divergence? Oh,
because it looks like chopsticks.
Like...
Yeah. That's why I think Lash calls it chop.
Oh, nah. Chop is like...
I'll chop price action, but I think he has said in the past when he's describing divergence, I'm sure I've heard him say chopstick or chop divergence.
Maybe.
I'm sure I'm going to have to ask him.
You have to ask him, man. That's that for them setups anyway. But let's see.
Is that the sort of divergence you would like to see in that situation?
Yeah. Yeah. Oops. What have I just done, man? Oh, my days. M7. All right. So these ones took 7 candles to shift. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right. Oh,
that's perfect.
You know what it is as well?
That's perfect.
This
is anything the price like maybe, but
on this day was also other GBPs beautiful.
Yeah.
I know it. I
I
knew
remember
it.
this day.
Yeah.
I like the first leg out, second leg in as well on this.
Yeah,
On TDI, yeah.
man, this fucking trade literally had everything, man, and we didn't even shoot it.
You missed it.
We missed this,
Look at the 800. The 800's miles away.
bro.
That's one straight run down as well, really.
This is a Mona Lisa. This is a Mona Lisa trade.
And there's a pin as well for the entry right at the top.
Bro. So here's my thing, right? Here's where I draw my thing. See, I might have drawn it here, but then 1, 2. No, that's not the high. 1, 2. Okay, this is my high.
That's a sick concept. I love that.
3, 4, 5. Okay. I know that they like to shift soon after this, right? 6 gives me another test of the high and closes as a pin. Bro, you have to be in that.
This is one question I've got for everyone in this group, actually. If you're really confident on the direction and the setup paints perfectly, but let's say you maybe were a bit impatient and you got in a bit early, can you reshoot if there's a better opportunity?
Can you reshoot? It's up to you. You can do
So what? It's a hard one.
You can do whatever you want, man. But I mean, for me, if I shoot early, like, how early is early? Like
let's say, because you could have entered on that like cross doji
here,
so that one you could have entered there,
right?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then you might have been stopped. Therefore, if you waited for the next candle, the opportunity is perfect. So I probably would have shot again.
Yeah, but you see, yeah, that comes down to just your entry game. At the end of the day, for me, I'm not gonna unleash a load of positions right here.
Would you say at that point it's too skinny?
I would what I hate as well, right, is when I see wicks like this on the bottom, like heavy bottom wicks on these candles like that. A lot of the time, I've seen they just go back up to make another leg and then come down. Like
and this. Also it makes sense because they, after stop hand box or London session begins and they did dead kiss.
Yeah.
I think it's dead kiss.
Yeah, I didn't have def on. This is how old this template is. I've only been using def for like, you see, for me, I started using def after I'd done all of this sort of shit. So
shit, I was using def with BTMM quite a lot.
No, but that def is different. That 13 is different.
Yeah, it is different. But they like to say they want to be in the trade once you've got confirmation, either above
once it closes
or
below it, right?
Yeah.
So let's say the 13 EMA was like here, right? Because I used to do this shit. This was literally me. Here's the 13 EMA. Yeah. And that's where I enter. Just like every other BTMM guy. But the thing is, that's late.
They say what you should do is wait for it to close under the 13, then wait for a 50% retracement up the previous candle. That's what Car says. That's what Car says. Yeah.
So I've got to pull a fib out now or get a fucking ruler on my screen.
I think Car uses a fib.
Yeah.
I think so.
Fair play.
Just on the closing of the 13 and a 50% retracement up the candle. That's what he says.
Well, yeah.
He's chatting shit because it doesn't work. But
yeah, he is chatting shit.
But the fact that the 13's being worked is something I did sort of take from it.
Yeah. But the thing is, with me, I was just watching price before I had def on. And then when I put def on, it was like, oh, it's the same thing. But what I was entering way too early all the time. I was entering like here and here. That was my problem with wanting to enter the highs, right? So I went deep on just what all of the patterns really look like, how long you need to wait, how many candlesticks they normally take. And then after I'd done all that, I added def, and it was like, oh, I could have just fucking been using this the whole time. It just, when it goes over like that, okay, yeah, it's perfect.
But to be fair, reading price is way better anyway.
Yeah.
It's just like the def is just like a confluence, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like a training wheel.
Yeah,
it's like all of this shit is just training wheels, right? But yeah, it's helpful. But man, this setup comes around again. What did drop lots on it?
What did Lash say about, he prefers it when it's like more of like a smaller candle on the way up and then more of a crush afterwards. So what did he say about this? Because there were so many big candles going up.
I can't remember. You'll have to look back in the chat. When was this? 16th of April. You'll be able to find. This is the great thing as well. You can just go back, like the recent setups. Wait, was this 2020 or 2021? I don't know.
21.
I normally have them marked. I'm pretty sure I went through this. I'm pretty sure I went through this in the chat not long ago. I can't remember what you said though. But you want to just read back through, man, because all the recent setups, you can see our mindsets. You can see what we were saying.
Yeah. With normals like EG and GU, obviously we shouldn't expect it, but what can happen is they can go 25 to 50 pips up. Is that the logic you're using there?
What I would say is the fact that the normal pairs did this during the gap time is a big clue.
Mm-hmm.
If they had have done this like here, then it's likely it would just chop and make a wider pattern like this, maybe going into New York. And that's just not something I've really tried to go deep on. It's just something I've seen where I've just been like, oh, okay, yeah, they can do this. So fuck it. But the fact that they made this during the gap time, they all did this move together. This was like the high of the week, right?
Mm-hmm.
On the Friday, all the EMAs perfect. Oh man, this day was perfect.
That is nice. A nice range squeeze, nothingness from before.
This is kind of trash, but let's see. So if I drew my line from here, it'd be 1, 2. It didn't close above it. So here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, they shifted.
And you'd like to have been up near the high, the 25 pip stop hunt.
Yeah. That's
you got that nice
areas.
Star pattern as well.
Yeah. You see, I probably would have entered it there back then. But now my entries need to be up here.
That's what I was trying to say about that. Yesterday we were speaking about the hot lob on the Tsar, where there's a big shift, and we were saying about waiting for a confirmation candle. I think my thinking of why I took the screenshot of that flash card is because I want to be taking the tops.
Yeah. But
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you want to be taking the tops, but you need to take tops that actually have a reason to grab. You know what I'm saying?
Like a nice wide pattern.
It's like you can't just grab every single top. Like I was saying, like a while ago, when I was just before I did all this work, when I was just I wanted to grab the top so much that I was just trading shit, just trading garbage, just like here. I'd try and grab this here. Like, yeah, sometimes it'd work out, but it's like there's so much uncertainty in your mind while you're trading.
And that's what we don't want.
You don't want that because you're not trading from a calmness. You're not confident.
You can't add the lot sizes if you do that.
Exactly.
That's what I'm trying to avoid. That's why I'm not really trading. I'm just going to wait till I'm ready and the setup is perfect.
But that's good. Like you should just like all the traders say this as well. They say you should just watch price for like a year or 2 years and don't try and trade. Like it's so true.
There's pros and cons. Like I think you can learn from doing bad trades, but at the same time, I'd rather just try not to do that.
But I think you learn it subconsciously the same way. So instead of you getting burned, you've seen in your mind the same thing repeat. So say you see this and you say, okay, here's my entry right here. And then they go up. You're not in it. You're just mentally like, okay, I think it's going to go. And then that happens. Subconsciously, now you know, because you've seen it so many times, that when it does come to live trading, you'll be like, nah, I'm not going to enter here because I want to see this. So
what I have been doing is just leaving like a marker where I think I would have traded. So I'm still learning those lessons. I'm just not using any capital.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Just put a little thing in, or even when you're recording your screen, make a note on the actual recording, because then when you watch them back in like months time, you'll be like, oh shit, I've done this mistake a few times now. It's not the first time I've done that.
I quite like something that Leo said. I don't know when it was, but he said when he watches the charts, he just records himself speaking.
Yeah,
it's like he's just recording
and he
himself.
Watches them back.
Yeah, I like.
It's a good idea. It's a good idea, or at least just make, even if you. But that's why it's good to have. That's why I've found it good to be going back through the the chat, right? Because we use voice notes. So you look at the times of the candles and the times of this, and you're like, okay, this is what I was saying then. Yeah, it is.
That's a good idea. I think once you mentioned the media on that thing as well, I've been going through that like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah.
There's so much good content in there.
So M8 patterns, right? I said they shift on the 8th candle. They do this quite a lot. This is kind of trash. There's some trash flashcards in here.
There's some things I like about it though.
Yeah, but like what?
No.
Like what?
You know when Ash says about they use too much steam getting up the hill?
Yeah.
That was a prime example.
Yeah. But you see my railroad track ones, right? What I noticed about the railroad track ones, it's not always like a railroad track on the second leg. Like some of them look like a clump. And I call them middle finger patterns because it's more like that with the railroad track. Let's find an example.
So it's like a evening star, but instead of being like a doji, it's just a big bar in the middle.
Like this. Yeah.
Yeah.
See how that just looks like a big middle finger?
Yeah.
So it's like a railroad track, but the railroad track's normally followed by like a little doji or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like a cluster of candles. That is a bit extreme. But like this, we were looking at this one the other day, right? It's just like a cluster of candles. But I was just trying to, because some of these, like you can't count the head on them.
What
like,
pair is this?
This is GU. But let's say I drew my thing here, right? 1, 2, 3 breaks it. Takes a little bit too long, and then it rolls over. Like I'm not redrawing my line from here afterward. Like when it looks like this, I'm not gonna draw my line again.
There's something happening in my head when I look at this, and it's something that maybe I should avoid thinking about.
Look at the TDI as well. You have to put it with the TDI as well.
I just think I would have expected a second leg on this pair. I probably would have.
A second leg where? Like I see this as the second leg.
I mean,
like this goes up and they pull away, and then they go back up to work it.
They come back down, they leave that pin like a doji.
Like here.
Yeah, that one.
Oh, you want to see a second leg here?
It may have come back up. I would have considered that as a thought, and it may have like knocked me out of the trade. And I would have missed it.
Maybe I would just say they would have been working the high for way too long. Because remember how I said I like to just count like 8 candles, and if they're not out of there by then, so let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So after 6 candles now, they're below my line. 7, 8. Okay, so the 8th candle is closed and we're down here. If you're in, you know what I mean? If you're in anywhere here, then you're safe. But yeah, it's one of those setups.
That's like an advanced setup, I think. That's like an experienced setup.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have taken that one personally. But I can see why someone would have.
How do I get rid of this?
Like it's almost perfect, really. Like if you got in at the top.
It's the price action, man. It's just reading. Yeah. It's just watching this. It's just watching it all unfold. I'm watching the TDI.
This is a question I was going to ask the other day. So when it comes to HODs, as long as the EMAs are placed in the right place, like they are here, for example, you got the 50, the 200, and the 800 below. If there's a big move the day before, then on today's data, they give you a HOD. Is that better than it would be if there was nothingness?
I split my HODs into 2 subcategories. I have HODs that are like this, where the EMAs are all fanned out. And then I have HODs where they're more in the range. And the EMAs are a bit closer. And there's normally blocks to the left from like yesterday did. The HODs that I'm talking about now, they're the ones that come from nothingness, right? They'll do nothing the day before, and then they might go to the HOD, hit a block, and then drop. Like that is that sort of HOD. Whereas this HOD, HOD A, I call them, they're not really going to come from nothingness. You know what I'm saying? Because they normally make this move the day before. So that question depends on the variation. But definitely the ones that come from nothing are what I would call HODBs.
Okay, and in your studies, what would you have said is the higher probability setup, A or B?
Higher probability. I don't know, man. The higher probability.
Like, would you personally rather see a HOD from nothingness before, or would you like to see one just like this?
I'm prepared for both, but
Okay.
I will say I've seen more HODBs.
Mm-hmm.
So, but
yeah,
but the way I've broken them down, right? You'd see some of my HODBs and you'd say, oh, but that looks more like HOD8. But it's just the way it's just the way I see them, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you go deep into them and it's the same with hod lobs, like when you really pick them all apart and you categorize them and you have this folder of these ones, this folder of these ones, just so it's easier for your mind to pull one out when you see a live chart because you know what kind of variation it is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you'll arrange them in your own way.
Yeah, because like I said, when you're searching through hod lobs in your folder, you don't want to be looking through every single one.
Yeah, you don't want every hod lob.
You want to go straight to that niche.
Yeah, you want to be dialed in.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. But this is more of a HODB, right? Comes from nothingness. See how it's in the range? See how you got a block right here?
Mm-hmm.
That's a HODB. Whereas this is a HODA.
Mm-hmm. Got you.
Okay, so this is very similar to this though, right?
Would you say that a HODB is more of like a continuation and a HODA is more of like at the peak?
It's like a reversal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I did actually call them peaks and ranges, but then we don't like the word peaks. So I changed it to hod A and hod B. So yeah, this is the same as this, right? Am I tripping or are these the same? This one's got a wick right here, but this is the same thing, right?
The head's the same, yeah.
The head is the same. Again, with this, very, very similar to this. I was just like a cluster of candles and then a railroad track and then a little doji and then gone.
Nice wide pattern.
Yeah. But you see these used to throw me off so hard because it'd be like, what the fuck is that? That's not an M. Where's the legs?
Yeah.
You know? Where it's like, it's not always like that. It's just the price action. And once you find a flashcard and then find another one that looks exactly like it, and you put them two together and you call them something, and then you do that over and over again, eventually you have these little subcategories of setups. You know what I'm saying?
It's like music. You've got drill,
exactly,
UK grime, hip hop, trap.
Exactly. You could say these ones are all the grime patterns, right? This is the way they play out.
Mm-hmm. These are like 140 BPM.
These are 140.
That one's got a bowl and snare.
140 grime street patterns. What we got here? Did I just go on these? These are railroad tracks. Oh, I went on them. And then I had star patterns. So these are like different variations of them. See how it's just like a little. But you see, like the way I broke these all down, it wasn't even necessarily. This is kind of trash as well. Look at this.
Mm-hmm. I was going to say.
Yeah, it wasn't even like I was just trying to break them all up. You know what I'm saying? I was just trying to break them all up and put them all into their matched. Or this even looks kind of like what we were just looking at.
Mm-hmm.
This looks more like them railroad track ones we were looking at. How it's just like a cluster. It goes up like this and then rolls over.
It looks skinnier because the candles are bigger, but really they're the same.
Yeah. Like this looks just like what we were just looking at.
This is one question I was going to ask about HODs. Yeah. So would you say that it's more probable that it's going to be a good setup if price is accumulating through Asia, but price stays at the top of Asia, then breaks out, as opposed to being at the bottom of Asia?
Repeat that.
Right. So you've got accumulation in the Asian session at the high of the day or near the high of the day.
Mm-hmm.
And price, as it comes out of Asia, is still at the top. So Asia's here, price is there. And then it comes out, as opposed to being at the bottom and breaking out from the bottom up.
Yeah. Well, that's something. Add it to your spreadsheet as well. That's like all of these tiny details. Yeah, add them to your spreadsheet because you'll see which ones are more common, which ones work more. But you'll see the ones that make a cliff dive. I can't remember what we called it. It's a cliff dive, but in reverse, right? Because when you're seeing a hod lob, you'd rather see price at the bottom of Asia, just falling off,
Pump and dump,
than coming from the top of Asia and rolling all the way through. Yeah, you want it at the bottom, gone like that. So at HOD, you want price near the high of Asia, but I would say it's not essential.
Okay.
But it's just another small detail that needs to be studied.
Because it's like LODs, like, is it better for price to be near the bottom of Asia then come out? Or would it really make a difference?
Yeah,
same thing.
Yeah, same thing.
Okay,
yeah, that's more of a cliff dive, right? That's a cliff dive on LOD patterns.
Yeah. I mean, does cliff dive mean? Because I thought cliff dive just meant from Asia and it cliff dives out. But it doesn't necessarily say if it's at the top or bottom of Asia.
Cliff dive is like this.
Yeah.
So it's here.
Okay. So it is in the bottom half.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, HODs, if they're like this, they just roll straight out.
Much nicer.
Yeah. We've only got 2 minutes here, so I don't really want to start going crazy looking for anything. Is there anything we're watching, looking at? Any questions? Flashcards?
If you can see, guys, I post on group flashcards on.
Oh yeah, let's see that.
Flashcards of user.
Yeah, the first one.
And you can see on 13 December it's just A.
Yeah,
so
that's ZAR. That's
literally how I see it, or how it helps me is that yesterday they did M, so today I don't expect widened pattern because yesterday was widened.
Yeah.
So I knew that it can be skinny.
100%.
Especially with ZARs as well. I feel like a ZAR pattern doesn't necessarily need to be as wide as like a normal pair.
Yeah.
On ZAR, yeah.
But coming from, like Martin said, coming from an M, you can't just think they're going to give you a second leg.
It helps. How I see it helps me.
Yeah. No, that's right. Yeah. Again, look at that hod lob on the 22nd. Like it made next to nothing move out of Asia, but there was divergence and it was extreme.
And you can see also how I said it is on gap time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
But arguably you could enter right on stop hunt time.
Yeah.
On that doji.
On the doji, yeah.
Right, we got less than 1 minute, lads.
All right, let's get out of here.